All right, warriors, gather around. We're going to talk about how we can learn a simple lesson from mice and how even our own government has trained us to spot narcissists. And not only that, we have tests and boot camp to call out the mental illness, the disorder, because they're not capable of producing fruit and they're a liability, even in our own forces. That's pretty sad when you can't even burn a shit barrel because you're that incompetent. You can't even take an order. Warriors, 5 seconds though. We're gonna do a breathing exercise. It's not gonna take long, and it's just gonna get us to compose ourselves so that we can have room in our mind space to start making sense of all the chaos, all the manipulation, the triangulation, identifying flying monkeys, identifying people that are trying to cross you for selfish gain. Warriors, what we're trying to do is understand that as a whole, you have been conditioned to tolerate disrespect and incompetence, and now it's time to put our foot down. Narcissists are the only ones that are going to be screaming the loudest. Matter of fact, they're doing it now. That's not your problem, boo-boo. You've been making badass choices, and it's time for you to start reaping your reward. Let's take 5 seconds. We're going to take a badass walk, and we're going to talk about why narcissists lose it, which we all know the rage experience, but we're going to go into it a little more in depth. 5 seconds. Come on. Release slowly. All right. Shake that shit off. Y'all, have y'all heard of horchata? Horchata. It's a delicious, delicious drink. This isn't it, but I want some. This is banana milk. B-A-N-A-N-A. Banana. B-A-N-A. It goes something like that. But anyway, did you suck that cow's titty this morning? No, I didn't. Warriors, check this out. I had a talk with a badass warrior the other day, and I want to share this with you because we're so intelligent that we're too smart for our own fucking good. A simple lesson that we can learn from mice in a controlled environment, a created utopia. And I want you to look at these studies. When you go to the search engine on YouTube, type in Universe 25. Dr. John Calhoun did a study on mice. It's going to blow your mind. And I want you to understand that he didn't do just one, and he's not the only one since then that has done the same study. And it's going to show you the cyclical cycle of our own demise as humans. Warriors, it's almost as if we're programmed to self-destruct when we have it all. It's the damnedest thing to watch. But if you look at that model, it wasn't tested once, it was tested 10 fucking times. And a multitude of times since then. And researched and studied. So much so that we've now come to the conclusion that the simplest of animals are teaching us a very loud message about ourselves, and we're taking it for granted. But in many respects, we understand what a mental disorder is. We know that. We test for it. And we know this much. We know that narcissists lose it when they're rejected or you don't go as planned. You're not staying in their lane and being obedient. And this is because they can't hold back whenever reverse narcology is played on them. It's not tit for tat. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. And what I mean is, they can't control anger. They can't bite their tongue. They can't take the higher road. They are very reactive and explosive because they don't know, nor were they taught how to ask the proper questions. Why do I feel this way? What motivated me to feel this way? And so because of this, you can use reverse narcology to bust their fucking bubble. And if you don't think we don't do it or didn't do it in the military, you're dead wrong. Look, even in the military, we know anyone that falls below an IQ of 83 isn't accepted in the military because you're not worth a shit. There's nothing you can do. There isn't a single job available to you that the government, our tax dollars, would ever be considered to train you. In other words, we feel you're fortunate just being able to walk, talk, and chew bubble gum at the same fucking time. It's a wonder you can breathe. We have what we call the ASVAB. This is a measurement of your intellectual capacity, your psychological capacity, and how your reading comprehension is. But get this, this isn't the only vetting tool used in the military. We know 83, anything below that, you're not trainable. That's 10% of the population, which so happens to be the exact same percentage of toxicity in our population, the world population, not just in the Western culture, the world. Now, and of course, I don't know how long ago that percentage came up, but I believe it's a lot higher than that. Can I get a what? But regardless, we'll stick with statistical facts so that we're not being challenged here, right? I don't want to lose anybody. Bottom line is, even the military knows this. It just so happens 10% of the toxic acids that we have in our environment, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, histrionics, cluster Bs, all of them, right? What we do in the military, because we know that just a test, an ASVAB alone, isn't going to call out mediocrity. So we have this thing we call boot camp. And in this boot camp, it is physical, but that's only 20% of the training. The rest is psychological, breaking you down into bite-sized pieces to see how do you handle no. Because every training exercise in the military is designed to fail, for you to fail. It's not until the very ass end, once they figured out who's staying, who's going, are the winners allowed to cross the finish line. Warriors, I took an oath a long time ago, and I take them seriously. When I decided to join and wear the uniform, I took an oath to defend our country against enemies abroad and domestic. I never understood the domestic. I couldn't fathom, other than in my own mind thinking, well, if an enemy came to our coastlines and breached our borders, that would be a soldier in a domestic posture defending our people. Little did I know that what that meant was that we have cells of terrorists. And the founding fathers knew this, that we would have terrorists whose sole purpose in life is to destroy the very fabric of our country. and countries abroad to cause dissension, chaos, and understand their sole purpose is to cause dysfunction and a division in the nuclear family. Narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, borderlines, cluster Bs, histrionics, whatever you want to call them, 83 IQ and below, are domestic terrorists. Now I know what a domestic enemy is. Warriors, it's a spiritual battle. And now that I know this new vision or insight of the domestic enemy, understand, even though I wore the uniform and trained by the red, white, and blue, I now wear a different armor. My battle now, trained by the best, just like you, we are on the front lines. And now our battle is for humanity. Not race, not gender. But in order for our survivability as humans, humankind, we need to stand up as one and understand that the enemy isn't who you think it is. Your enemy can be your own flesh and blood. Warriors, I appreciate these badass walks on the beach, and I thank you so much for your support. But what I want you to understand is, don't get so impatient with yourself. It took years. And I know it's hard at times. It's hard to stomach. But understand, the enemy can only wear you down, and they are patiently waiting. Coming to do a little interruptions. You see, warriors, your patience is God-given. And during that time, it gives you the 5 Mississippis to gather your thoughts, be calm, and instead of being reactive, you respond. Narcissists will explode, and you need to pay attention, because that's the biggest red flag in identifying your enemy. They cannot hold anger. They cannot regulate those kind of emotions. Reverse narcology, warriors. All you got to do is piss them off a smidgen with the most powerful word and complete sentence that you could ever empower yourself with. And that word is no. Not today, Satan. I got my banana milk. Look, I tingle muscles. It's never goodbye, warriors. It's always until next time. Now get out there and kick some ass. Don't let these dumbasses try and act Like they're going to be able to taunt you, to provoke you. I wish a bitch would. It's never goodbye, warriors. Always until next time.
The wastelands through the highways, and on we'll see the horizon, turn us to thousands.